Hi, I'm Bryan Williams, and welcome to the Sarah O'Connell Show.
Welcome to the Sarah O'Connell Show.
Bryan Williams, welcome to the Sarah O'Connell Show. How are you today?
I am doing great, Sarah. I'm doing better than great because
Good.
one, I'm talking with you. It's been a long time, and I get to talk about one of the things that I would talk about any day of the week, which is WWE 2K, specifically 2K24.
So, for the uninitiated, you are, of course, a games industry legend, a future Hall of Famer as well. But can you tell me what you aspired to be when you were growing up?
Well, first of all, I don't know if I'm any of that, but I appreciate it. That's nice of you to say. It is funny. Before I got into the games industry when I was young, I actually wanted to become an illustrator for Marvel Comics. I was and still am a huge comic book fan. Spider-Man is number one, and yeah, growing up, that's all I wanted to do. Even when I got into college, unfortunately, I found out pretty quickly that I kind of sucked as an artist, and I was like, I'm not gonna make money doing this. So I kind of pivoted and ended up in game development. It was like a happy accident, to be honest.
This is the first, by the way, this is the first time that I've ever interviewed somebody that I used to work with. So that's
Yeah.
fun. You've worked on wrestling games for a long time. New release, WWE 2K24 is out on March 8th. First of all, how long has the game been in development for?
Yeah, out March 8th and out March 5th for early access.
Very true.
The development of 2K24 began, I would say pre-production probably started roughly in, I would say maybe end of February, March of last year. You know, working on these games, as you know, I mean, because they have that yearly cadence, it's like the post office. It never stops. Work is always there. But it's one of those things that is exciting. It can be a little difficult to kind of divorce yourself from one title to begin working on the other, especially nowadays where we've got DLC and patches that we're pushing out. So we're all even when we begin working on the next one, we're still making sure that the current game is being supported. But it's always an exciting time. And for me personally, we're getting ready for the release, and it's like Christmas. Like this is my Christmas.
Yeah.
Just waiting for the game to get into people's hands because I feel really strongly about this year's effort.
Absolutely. And I'm really excited about this year's cover stars. We've got in the standard edition Cody Rhodes and Deluxe Edition Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. I know they're going to do huge things this year. So congratulations on great choices there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the reception and the reaction to the box art this year has been through the roof. Obviously with Cody doing his thing, and hopefully he finishes his story in the coming months here. Obviously a great choice to be on the standard edition, but yeah, to have Rhea and Bianca on the deluxe is like chef's kiss. Everybody's
Absolutely.
getting their flowers.
And so the game is, of course, celebrating 40 years of WrestleMania, as is the WWE Universe. And you're going to be able to recreate classic matches, Hulk, Andre, all that good stuff. During those matches, will there be perhaps clips from the actual match while you're playing along to fill in some of the events that happen?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. When we do showcase each year, that's one of the things that we call it slingshot technology,
All right.
where during the course of the gameplay, the game seamlessly transitions from gameplay to cutscene to live action, and vice versa. So that is definitely something that fans can expect to see as they're playing through the matches. I've played through, you know, a handful of them already because I do like to save some things for myself when I get my own retail copy.
Yeah, of
But
course.
it's a phenomenal mode this year. I mean, I thought last year's showcase was also incredible, the John Cena showcase. But this is 40 years of WrestleMania. It's the granddaddy of them all, and it's a sequel because we covered 30 years of WrestleMania in 2K14. So to be
Right.
able to revisit it 10 years later has just been incredible. And as you're playing through the matches, it's like an interactive documentary. So I think as fans of the sport, as we are, we can be able to play some of these old matches and kind of harken back to when we were young, and then at the same time for newer and younger fans, they might be getting an education on how not not only the matches themselves, but why these matches have stood the test of time. And so I think fans will really, really enjoy the mode. I think the showcase team, Dino Zacconi, shout out Dino, was a designer on Showcase this year and last year, and him and his team have done an incredible job. So a lot of cool matches. 21 matches that players will be able to experience this year.
Very exciting. Other huge news, Post Malone is the executive soundtrack producer. How did that come about? Has he always been a fan of the games or WWE?
So I believe so. I know that this was an effort that came from our marketing department, and these guys, they are some highly creative individuals who come up with these celebrity engagements with us. And yeah, Post Malone is a fan. I know I got the sense of his fandom when I was shared clips, because we were asking him, okay, so you're going to be a playable character this year. How do you want your character to fight as? Like, who are some of your favorites? And I got a chance to see him express, oh, I want to be this and da da da. And he was so into it. And it was like, oh, okay, this guy really knows his stuff.
Yeah.
So no, he's definitely a fan. And yeah, he's lent his musical ear. He's curated the soundtrack for us. And it's a good one. It's a good one. I will admit, I haven't been as knowledgeable about Post Malone, his music, but I've gotten that recently, and it's really good. And his excitement to be a part of the game has got me excited.
I think it's a really exciting collaboration, and also the fact that he's a playable character. And I always find it interesting when you have people in the game that haven't wrestled in real life, so they don't necessarily have a moveset and how you go about building that. What kind of character would you say is more of a technical wrestler, a high flyer?
Fans can expect a more of a brawling type of moveset
Okay.
from old Mr. Malone. He expressed his love of Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
So given that information, we went through and curated a moveset that best fit, that type of style. He also expressed his desire to be somewhat of a dirty wrestler. A lot of eye pokes, gouges to the face, and things of that nature.
Cracks, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was really fun working on his moveset and putting all that together. And honestly, and again, just his level of involvement. This isn't something that he's doing just, casually on a whim. Like, he really does care about the work that he's done with the franchise this year, whether, when it comes to the soundtrack, his character, how he looks. Like, he's really hands-on. And, as creators and designers on the game, we appreciate that, that goes a long way.
Makes a huge difference. And so this year, I understand there's going to be over 200 playable characters in the game, which is a phenomenal amount. Can you tell me some of your favorites?
Let's see. I got a lot. Obviously Cody, and I know that's an easy one just because he's on the cover and he's super popular right now, but I'm an old school Cody Rhodes fan. I remember when he first debuted, was it 2007? And he was teaming up with Hardcore Holly. I remember seeing him and I'm like, man, this kid is going to go places. I've always kind of I'm going to put myself over a little bit. I always kind of credited myself on being able to identify talents, and I can kind of see them. Like, okay, I see big things in store for him or her, and I saw that in Cody, and I'm proud of his success the same way that I'm proud of the success you've had with your show.
Thank you.
So Cody is someone who I use a lot in the game. Trying to see, I kind of want to stick to the characters that have been announced, if that matters.
Helps,
I don't want to step on any toes here. Who else? I mean, there's a whole bunch. I'll just stick with Cody for right now because I don't want to mention somebody that hasn't been announced. But yeah, he's fun to play with. And one of the new things we've added this year are super finishers.
Right.
We've increased the number of special move slots. Signatures and finishers used to be capped out at 2 per character. Now you can have up to 5 of each.
Okay.
And Cody, his super finisher is his Crossroads, where he performs it 3 times in rapid succession to kind of really put the nail in the coffin for his opponent, that kind of exclamation mark. So I love playing as him and being able to hit his Crossroads Trinity, which I named. So it's fun.
And does it take longer to build those special finishes up?
To build up to 3, it will take a little bit of time because it's basically to build 1, to get to the other, to get to the second, to get to the third. It's not a super long time. And also it just depends on the character you're using, right? Because some superstars accumulate their special and their finisher meter at a more rapid, clip than some of the other characters. So that also plays a role in it. But what I like about them is that it really is the end all be all to a match, especially if you're, competing against somebody in a highly competitive match. There's strategy involved. It's like, if you've got 2 finishers stored, do you use those 2 now, or if you're close to getting that last one to get your super, you have to make these decisions as you're playing. And I think if you have the patience to get to that third, and if you're able to land it successfully, it really is the end. Because the one thing about super finishers is that they will automatically they will nerf and nullify a character's resiliency
Right.
ability for a brief period of time. They don't lose it altogether, but if you hit somebody with a super, I believe it's for about 20 seconds, they will not be able to use resiliency. So they'll have to kick out, the old fashioned way.
And so there's loads of discussion and debate every time a superstar ranking is revealed. And I love reading all that stuff. Can you tell me some of the process about which factors come into play when you're deciding a superstar score?
Yeah, so this is always a fun topic of discussion. We're rolling out the ratings as we speak. Our social team has been, dropping the OVRs, and even on Raw, they've been doing, and SmackDown the previous week, they
Yeah.
have been showing the OVRs. So there's a lot of different ways to approach it. One of the things that we set out to do this year specifically was to kind of take a more back to basics approach and utilize the full scale that we have. For the past couple of years, we felt that there was kind of a lot of sameness with the ratings, where we had just a glut of characters in the 90s, and we wanted to kind of tailor that back to make it so that if a superstar is a 90 and above rated character, that is a rarefied class.
Yeah.
And this is not disrespect intended to anybody who's not a 90, not at all, but it's just a way to really reinforce, those characters, those superstars that are at the, tippity top,
Yeah.
versus those that are in the mid card and then on the low card. And I think we've done a really good job. I mean, obviously, as you mentioned, everybody's got their opinions on how they like to do things. But we at 2K, we basically just look the calendar year. How
Yeah.
has that superstar performed? Where are they consistently within the hierarchy of the WWE? Are they consistently in main events? Do they frequently flirt with the main event match here or there? And that's really what we do. I mean, we're not picking favorites. We're just going by what the programming has told us over the past calendar year, and we do our best to assign those ratings accordingly.
I thought it was really funny yesterday when Jimmy and Jay Uso's scores were announced, and Kofi Kingston tweeted about it and said, I thought they were twins.
I
Like,
saw that too. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that as well. I saw a lot of discourse about the ratings of
yeah,
Jay and Jimmy, but I don't think anybody would fault the fact that Jay right now, his rating being higher than his brother. It's like,
main
hey,
event Jay.
main event Jay, and it just goes to show you, being a good guy will get you places.
It does.
Turning
Really
your back on family is not a good thing,
especially in the game.
especially in the game. Yeah.
So here's a question I appreciate you may not be able to answer yet, but with the recent merger of WWE and UFC, could we perhaps in the future see some guest appearances from UFC stars, maybe if after they've been at WrestleMania? I know we had one debut on Raw last night and cut a promo against Conor McGregor.
I just saw that before we started this interview, because I was catching up on Raw
Yeah.
last night, and I just saw that was a fiery promo
Yeah, it
that
was.
he did there. When it comes to any sort of integration with the UFC, I mean, honestly, never say never. But I'll just leave it at that. But it is an interesting partnership now. With WWE now being a part of Endeavor and the two
Yeah.
companies coexisting. So we'll see.
It's exciting. So I want to get into some of the new features in the game. So special guest referees making its return. So one question I have specifically about that, I understand you can play as the referee, but can you also set it so that the AI controls the referee? And if so, how does their behavior change from a normal referee?
Oh, you can absolutely set the AI to be the special guest referee for sure. And as far as how they'll behave, so in the game, as I'm sure you know, and for those who don't, I'll tell you, we have these personality sliders within the game, and so not only the personality sliders and the alliance and the relationships between certain superstars that are in factions will play a part in how the AI governs a match. Without going into too many details, again, I'm trying to spoil the roster. But I think these guys have been announced, like Dominic. Yeah, he's been announced.
So Tom and Nick Mysterio are both in the game. That's very exciting.
Yeah. But if you have members of the Judgment Day in a match, and you have one of those members acting as a special referee in an AI capacity, they obviously will favor their stablemate over
Right.
that of the opponent. So you'll see a mix of that. And at the same time, if you've got, someone who does things on the up and up, they'll do their best to officiate, as an actual referee would. But yeah, you'll see all of that integrated into the game. It's one of the things that our AI designers have been very keen on addressing and making sure that when the AI is, playing as a special guest ref, that it behaves and reacts accordingly based on those that are in the match.
And there's a ton of other new gameplay features as well. There's ambulance matches. We've got the Gauntlet match. Backstage Brawls now have multiple people. Which is your favorite new addition?
This question's always tough because I love everything that we've added this year. In terms of the matches, I would say I'm very partial to the Casket
Yep.
and the Gauntlet, the reintroduction of the Gauntlet match. But one of the things that I think, in terms of just the nuts and bolts of gameplay, that I just think fans are really, really gonna love, and I think it radically changes the approach for, hardcore, no holds bars, backstage brawl matches, is a return of throwable weapons, and being able to throw a chair, a kendo stick, a water bottle, upside the head of your opponent. It never gets old, it never gets tiring, and there are so many cool, like, improvisational things that can occur with the advent and the return of the ability to throw objects at opponents. It really does completely change the nature of how those matches are played, and you really have to keep your head in a swivel, and watch out not just for that close physical contact with your opponent, but if you're in a multi-man match, somebody could chuck a chair behind you and you not even be aware. So I think it adds a lot of chaos and unpredictability to the matches that I think fans are really, really going to gravitate to. And I'm glad that this is returned. I mean, we had this back in SmackDown versus Raw 2011.
Yeah.
And it was only in that one game, and it was one of those things where a lot of fans, they lamented the fact that it got removed. So I'm glad that it's back, and as long as I'm still working on this franchise, it will not leave. Like this, this needs to become a mainstay of the gameplay experience.
And I understand that the blood has evolved too now. So it used to be that you cut your opponent open or they get injured and it trickles down their face, maybe on their chest, but now actually leaves a stain on the floor.
It does. It does. Another returning feature from previous games is that, yes, the blood will stain the mat, and it will transfer onto other surfaces. This was something that Lionel Jinx, our creative director, was adamant on reintroducing, and the graphics team, the designers, everybody really stepped up, and they went, they really did their best, or a remarkable job of just not only reintroducing the blood staining of the environment, but just the way the blood drips in and of itself. It will occur in different areas of the body, like on the face, and just makes it look that much more authentic. When these unfortunate mishaps happen in a wrestling match, you'll be able to see that in 2K24 as well.
And is the blood persistent, or will it disappear over time?
So it'll be persistent up until a point. Like, obviously, if there's too much of a blood spillage throughout, there will be areas where it will start to kind of dry up.
Yeah.
But there will always, like, once blood starts to stain, you'll see elements of it. It may not be all of it, but you'll definitely notice that from beginning to end, that the ring definitely will look different from how it started. So yeah.
Well, that makes sense, because you couldn't paint an entire arena with one person anyway.
Exactly.
Can you tell me too, will you be able to transfer anything over from 2K23, like created superstars or MyFaction cards or anything like that?
Unfortunately, no. That will all, everything from 2K23 will remain in 2K23. And so with 2K24, you'll have to, get on community creations and, download those characters again. Or if you're, creatively inclined, like so many are, upload your own creations and share those with the rest of the WWE 2K community. So yeah.
I always love, after a pay-per-view, how quickly people have a premium live event as they are now, how quickly they just have the arenas and the outfits and everything. Amazing.
It's amazing, Sarah. I'm the same way. Like, literally hours after an event, they'll have, oh, this is so-and-so's attire from the event we just watched. And I'm like, how do these guys do it so fast? There really are a lot of artists who are out there contributing and adding to the quality of life of the game each and every year. And I am so thankful for them, because I'm terrible at making my own custom superstars. So yeah, they're doing, they're definitely the backbone of the WWE community.
They really are. And here's a quick question. Can you tell me, will locker codes be returning?
I don't know off the top of my head. I can find out and get back to you. Um, I would imagine so, but don't hold me to that. I'll get to the team and I'll answer offline.
Yeah, that's fine. I was just thinking, yeah, because I used to, when WrestleMania was on, there'd be a code that was available and you'd
Right.
unlock some stuff.
Yeah, because I use those as well.
Yeah. Trying to
I
keep
use
track
them
of
quite
them
a
for
bit.
every game, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Want to get
Mm.
those free drops.
I'm really excited about the Deluxe Edition, which comes with 3 days early access and the season pass, which I understand has 5 DLC packs. Will they be like previous years where they just have superstars? Might we see arenas or other content as well?
So we DLC will definitely be, figures into our plans. The contents of which we have not yet announced. So unfortunately, I've got to keep tight-lipped on that one. I don't want to get myself in any trouble. But having being aware of what it is we're offering, I can say that fans will be pleased. Uh, I think in a major way. So I'll just leave it at that. But I'm excited for the reveal whenever it happens because I really do think fans are going to be kind of pleasantly shocked and surprised by what we're offering this year.
I know they will. And so one thing that has been announced, which I am excited about, is the 40 Years of WrestleMania Edition. It comes with the season pass, the early access, all that good stuff. Also will come with post-launch, the WrestleMania 40 arena.
Yes, that is correct.
Do you get to find out in advance what that looks like, or do you have to wait for the event before people can start building it?
I honestly, I'm not sure how the environment team, if they were given any early access or look at that arena. I'm honestly not quite sure. Um, I'm kind of surprised to see it myself, to tell you the truth.
Me too.
But in addition to that, we also have some superstars as well. Like you get WrestleMania versions, the Macho King, Randy Savage from I believe it was WrestleMania 8, Triple H from WrestleMania 30 when he came out on the throne and with the skull mask, Charlotte Flair from WrestleMania 33, I want to say.
Okay.
Rey Mysterio from WrestleMania 22.
Yeah.
And Bianca Belair, I believe. I think that was all of them. But yeah, you're gonna get some of these characters as part of that pack in their WrestleMania themed attires and everything.
And here's a question I ask every guest on the Sarah O'Connell show. Can you tell me a fun fact about yourself, something we may not know, a hobby, a party trick, something like that?
Oh, party trick. Wish I had one of those. Fun fact about myself. Um, Besides the fact that I'm a huge wrestling nerd, which I guess people probably know that already if they follow me on Twitter or X. I recently took up boxing.
Oh, wow.
I think that's kind of a fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because it's one of those things that I had always wanted to do, and because of my procrastinating nature, I just kept putting off and putting off. But when the pandemic happened and the lockdowns and all of that unfortunate mess, it kind of reframed my mindset. And I know when things started to open back up again, I told myself, okay, can't take any of this stuff for granted anymore. I went to my, the studio, and I've known the guy, my trainer now. I've known him for a while, and he knew that I always wanted to do it. And as soon as things opened up, I went to Charles and I said, "Hey, man, let's do it. I'm ready. I'm not gonna let this. Never know when things might, the world might shut down again." So
Yeah.
I've been boxing for about close to 2 years now, and I love it. And it's funny because my trainer Charles, he's a former boxer, and he's friends with Nick Khan, which is
Oh,
funny.
wow.
Yeah, because Nick Khan, obviously his background is in sports management and everything like that. So he's friends with my trainer. And when I first started working with him, Charles asked me what I did, and I told him where I worked, and he was like, "Oh, WWE." He's like, "Yeah, I got a buddy of mine who works there. Have you ever heard of this guy named Nick Khan?" I was like, "Yeah." So that was kind of a funny little thing. It's a small world, Sarah. It's a very
Yeah,
small world.
it really is. The song at Disney World is correct.
Yeah.
It's a small world after all.
It is a small world after all.
It is. So WrestleMania 40 is coming up soon in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm going to be there. I'm really excited. And I can watch
nice.
all that promo stuff without getting tickets to it. It's a big one, right? Will you be there? Will 2K have a presence in Philadelphia?
I'm sure 2K will have a presence there. I won't be there, unfortunately. I'll be watching from the comfort of my living room. But I wish you nothing but the best time. That's a stacked schedule you have. But that's going to be that's always a fun weekend.
Yeah.
especially the NXT, the Stand and Delivers. I love those shows.
It's so good. Well, I figured I was just going to watch all of it anyway. I may as well be there and watch it.
Yeah, why not? You work hard, Sarah. You got to
Yeah.
treat yourself.
Makes sense.
Treat yourself to, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just watching 5 days of relentless wrestling. WWE 2K24 is coming out soon, but can you tell me what you might be working on next? Of course, there's DLC and stuff like that. Have you started thinking about the next game, which of course wouldn't be announced yet? And do you have a wish list of stuff you'd love to be in future editions?
Oh yeah, I've always got a wish list. I think, everyone who works on this franchise has, a ton of things they like to add, year over year. So, my list is pretty extensive and long, and it just grows. Don't want to say anything just because if it doesn't happen, I don't want to be held accountable for it. But yes, I definitely have a list of things that I like to see added. One of them, well, actually, a couple of them got checked off this year. One of the things, Trading Blows is a new mini game that we've added to gameplay for 2K24. That's the whole, back and forth strike exchange that opponents will have. And I've wanted that in the franchise for years. And so happy that we were finally able to implement that this year. And as far as what I'm working on next, well, still when I get off the call with you, I got to go back to work and continue to work on 24, polish, polish, polish. We're always, fixing bugs and making sure that the game is as smooth and as clean as it can get. And like, as you mentioned, DLC is something that will be continue to work on as well.
Very exciting. I was trying to think of stuff that I'd love to see in future games to either return or be there for the first time. One thing I thought would be Inferno match was always a fun one, although they're quite rare nowadays.
Inferno, yeah, that was a match that we had in the game before. And a lot of fans, they will, kind of hit me up and say, oh, I really wish that match could make a return. And never say never, because, we listen to the fans. I mean, special guest referee is back because of fan demand. So if that fan demand is out there, for Inferno match, for I Quit match, another match type that I hear, requested quite a bit. So, we listen to you guys. We do.
Another one I was thinking I don't think I've ever seen in a wrestling game is a lumberjack match. 20 years ago, you couldn't have that many wrestlers around a ring, but we're getting to the point where you can have a decent amount now.
Yeah, that'd be a great one to have. I mean, just even though take outside the gameplay, just a visual of having all of those characters at ringside. That would look good in the back of a box.
I think it would, right?
I think so.
A lot of superstars have their own YouTube channels, and we know they like playing games in their spare time. Are there two WWE superstars or Hall of Famers that you'd love to see play the game against each other?
Xavier Woods is a really big fan of the game and covers it on his up, down, down. And he's really good. I'd like to see him go up against someone. Who would that be? I'll say Adam Pearce. Does that count? I mean, I know he's not an in-ring wrestler, at least not not right now. He's a manager, a GM of Raw. But Adam Pearce is a friend of 2K. He did a lot of mocap for us before he joined the WWE. So I think it would be fun to see a match between Adam and Xavier Woods. You've got a guy who spent a lot of years doing mocap for the game, going up against one of our biggest champions of the franchise each and every year in Xavier. I think that would be a super fun match to watch. Like Adam. I think Xavier would mop the floor with him, but yeah, it'd be fun.
Can you tell me, when you load the game up, which mode do you gravitate to the most? Which one do you just find yourself playing?
Oh yeah. So this is easy to answer. So every year I'm like clockwork. It's the first thing I do is Showcase. I love to go through Showcase, collect all the unlocks, get all the the characters, all the tires. I start with that first. Once I've done Showcase, I dip and dab and play exhibition. I spend a lot of time in MyFaction. I love MyFaction. Like in 2K23, I think a bulk of my gaming, my time spent in the game was in MyFaction, specifically the live events. I'm really tight with the team that works on the MyFaction side, Terrell and Bryan Williams. What's up, guys? And Bryan Williams is the designer who's responsible for the live events, and I just love him. I thought he did a really good job with them for 2K23. Just being very clever with the rule sets, and I just love the different ways that you can play the game. So I always look forward to that, and the fact that there's such a consistent cadence of them. So I found myself going back into MyFaction quite a bit. And then MyRise, I do the MyRise, go through those stories. The team that works on MyRise, they're exceptional. Sean and Andrea, two former writers in WWE, are part of the team, and they both, designed and write those stories. So that's always a good time to be had. And then my GM, I'm glad we have GM mode back.
Yeah.
And then I usually play GM mode and universe kind of concurrently. Like I'll step in GM for a couple of hours, then I'll go into universe and do my own thing. But yeah, it's to say I play a lot of this game.
I can relate. It's a fun feature of PlayStation 5 where it will tell you how many hours you've played a game. And I think on 2K23, I'm currently at 903. And
wow, really?
Yeah.
Virtual high five.
It's testament to the entire dev team. I've never got bored of the game. There's always new content, as you say, in MyFaction, and just across all the different game modes, there's always something new to do and stuff to unlock. Even when you think you've unlocked everything, or somehow unlock another arena or some random fun thing I didn't know was even in there. Very excited to start 2K24 and probably say goodbye to the next year.
Yeah. That's the best compliment, Sarah. All those hours spent. I thought I was gonna have you beat because I play on Steam and it also tracks your hours, and I had like 400, but you blew me out of the water. So a winner is you.
I think I probably spent half of that trying to unlock Kurt Angle and MyFaction, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah,
we'll get that. I'm gonna keep trying.
Yeah. Never give up. Expect a lot of cool improvements to MyFaction for 2K24 also. I think a lot of the fans are going to be pleasantly surprised and pleased with what we have cooking up for MyFaction this year. Those naysayers are not going to be naysayers anymore.
They're just going to be sayers.
They're just going to be. That's right. They're going to be sayers.
Or yay sayers.
Yeah, I like that. Yay sayers.
Yeah.
There we go.
I think so.
Look at this show. We're coining new verbiage and new terminology. I love it.
Don't know why I waited 20 years to do this. We could have been doing this every day. Crazy.
Right, I know. Hopefully this is just the first of many of these interviews to come.
Yeah, you're welcome back, obviously, anytime. And yeah, I was really excited to speak to you about the game. Obviously, I've known you for 2 decades now almost. It's really great to celebrate all the stuff you're working on, and just wishing you continued success, really.
Well, thank you, Sarah. I really appreciate that. And I don't think I've ever told you this, but as you've mentioned, we used to work together back in the day, and you were always like, when I joined the team, I was so scared. I had no idea what the hell I was doing, but you were always there to guide me, and you were a really good mentor to myself, and made me feel at ease and just comfortable with this brand new, chapter in my career. So I've always been grateful for you for that and our friendship, and you mean the world to me. So I'm just so honored to be on the show and to be able to speak with you again. This has been a highlight of my day.
That's absolutely been an honor to have you on my show too. I remember when I found out you were moving up from the QA department and you were going to start working in production. It was really exciting. And we sat near each other as well, which is great. And I loved your passion for the games back then. And I've been so pleased to see you continue on with the franchise through different developers. And it's one of the best versions of the game I think we've had. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah. I feel really special about 2K24. I think this is going to end up being the best in the franchise, which, I know 2K23 has that distinction, but we always strive for better. And I think that, I think we've achieved that this year.
And so final question, have you got any messages for people watching the Sarah O'Connell Show and your fans around the world?
Just, peace and love to all. And if you are a fan of pro wrestling, you definitely owe it to yourself to pick up WWE 2K24. WWE is hot right now. This is the hottest that WWE as a company has been since I've worked on this game. It's WrestleMania season. What better way to celebrate WrestleMania season besides WrestleMania itself? They're picking up WWE 2K24. I think, whether you're a lapsed fan, a current fan, or, you just want to pummel somebody or throw a chair at somebody's head, this is the game for you. It's super fun. The team that I work with are amazing, and the passion comes through in every area of the game. So again, treat yourself, do a great time with WWE 2K24.
With everything I've seen, it looks phenomenal, and I'm really excited to play it very soon. Bryan Williams, thank you so much for coming on my show today. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. The honor is all mine. It really is.
Thank you to everybody watching at home. Be sure to share, subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up, and leave lots of lovely comments. I'll see you all again soon for another episode of the Sarah O'Connell Show. Bye.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bryan Williams, gameplay producer for WWE 2K24. Please subscribe to the Sarah O'Connell Show, and she's got a ton of great content. She interviews, luminaries in the entertainment field. I'm not sure. I'm impressed that I'm on the show. I'm honored to be on the show. But definitely rate, subscribe, and be on the lookout for WWE 2K24. Early access is March 5th, and the game goes on sale globally on the 8th of March. It is a celebration of the 40 years of WrestleMania, and is just an incredible game through and through, from MyGM, Showcase, MyRise, all the new match types, Ambulance, Casket, Gauntlet, Special Guest, Ref, a bevy of superstars, legends, and alumni. It's the game not to miss.
Take care. Bye.
All right. Bye. See you, Sarah.